Good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based out Singapore. We are a multi-asset and multinational hedge fund. By multi-asset, I mean we cover multiple asset classes across the globe. By multinational, I mean we take positions in multiple locations across the globe. United States, European Union, and Asia Pacific region. But like I repeated many a times in our video, and I would continue to repeat in my all videos, which is we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean no third party. I repeat, no third party can invest capital in our funds. Treasury Consulting Group do not take funding from any third party in the world in any form. Today I would like to cover a very important topic we are having in the world of corporate finance, and that is nothing but the cross default clause. That's really very important because 99% people of the world that do not understand the cross default clause. In fact, I spoke to many bankers. You know that I worked as a corporate treasurer and I spoke with many bankers. In fact, today also we interacting with many bankers. They themselves are not well versed with this clause. And unfortunately, I repeat, unfortunately, when I studied the 2002 ISDA Master Service Agreement, I repeat, 2002 ISDA Master Service Agreement, I studied the cross default clause very carefully. And you would be surprised to know that this is absurd. That ISDA just did the formality in the cross default clause. Just did the formality. And I'm like, what the hell? Because I personally myself, on behalf of my both ex-employers, I did the ISDA agreements with various banks. Even at that point of time, I raised this point, but unfortunately, it wasn't accomplished at that point of time. But now I'm raising the point, and I'm going to be writing an email to ISDA directly marking to the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the ISDA, and asking him what the hell you people wrote in 2002 Master Service Agreement. So whatever ISDA wrote, you can download 2002 Master Service Agreement. It is on Google. You can download that, and you can refer from there. But let me in this video gives you the technical meaning of 2002 Master Service Agreement. Guys, please understand one thing very carefully, and I'll just create a hypothetical example. So I again repeat, I create a hypothetical example. Suppose I would say Tata Consultancy Services is taking a very big forward contract with, Goldman Sachs. I repeat, it's a hypothetical example. And suppose the value of that forward contract is $200 million. I can take this figure because TCS annual sales is more than $17 to $18 billion. So I can take this figure easily of $200 million. I'm not covering whether the CVA, credit valuation adjustment, I'm not covering whether TVA, debit valuation adjustment will come into picture. Because if I started covering this, then this video would be more than few hours. Goldman happy to take this $200 million position because they pass it to HSBC. HSBC passed this to JP Morgan to Standard Chartered to Barclays. You know how interbank market works. Very, very clearly, it's pretty simple. This is how the interbank market works. Now assume that one of the Tata Group entities is in trouble and they're supposed to pay a very handsome money to TCS, and they raise their hands, and TCS also raised the hands to Goldman Sachs. I repeat, it's a hypothetical example. In this eventuality, TCS is defaulting on its obligation. Of course, TCS signed the ISDA contract with Goldman Sachs. Since they signed the ISDA contract, Goldman can easily take TCS in the court. But the big mess is which jurisdiction. And the beauty, I repeat, the beauty of ISDA 2002 Master Service Agreement is they covered all jurisdictions. I'll have separate videos in this regards. So, like I told you, I cannot cover everything in one video. But they covered almost all jurisdictions of the universe, which means New York Court of Law, English Court of Law, Indian Court of Law, Malaysian Court of Law, and I don't want to repeat, but they covered almost the entire universe, which is a height of stupidity, because as a master service agreement, you should be adhere to few jurisdictions and let the investor sign STA, which is scheduled to annexure, and change his jurisdiction. There is no problem in that. There is no problem. But as a master service agreement, if you are having all jurisdictions into picture, it is a stupidity. As simple as that. It is clearly a stupidity. Guys, do remember that when you are signing the ISDA Master Service Agreement, there are many flaws. We have Master Service Agreement, many flaws. Please be careful that do not agree to the cross default clause. Do not. Because unfortunately, cross default clause is now used as a weapon rather than a solution. It precisely means if one of the group companies of any big conglomerate defaults, in financial troubles, unable to pay the investors' money, raised a huge amount of money from the market, but unfortunately unable to pay, and other group company who has nothing, I would say, who has nothing to do with this, reach to market and say, I am not interested to honor my transaction. In this eventuality, the whole cycle which is created in the interbank market is disrupted. And end result, unwanted fluctuations in the interbank market. Please do understand that when you are signing any legal agreement, it's not about ISDA, but when you are signing any legal agreement, be careful of one thing, that we are not agreeing to the cross default clause. Because I am facing a counterparty who is a subsidiary of a big group. It might be a group in information technology, might be e-commerce, might be manufacturing, might be computers, maybe technological company, or anything. But if I do not agree to the cross default clause, it means the default of one entity. I repeat, default of one entity would not affect my positions. But if you agree, then 200% the default of one entity, I repeat, default of one entity would have impact your position heavily. Let it be honest, heavily. So it should be very important for you to understand that you should not agree to the cross default clause. But unfortunately, I fail to understand why ISDA is not mentioning this in the master service agreement. Another important thing which I would like to cover in this video about the cross default clause is, although I will specifically not mention the name of the countries, but there are few countries we have in the world. When the appropriate time came, I'll definitely mention the name with the help of case laws. There are many countries in the world, those who are not strict, I would say, as far as the cross default clause is concerned. And there are many countries in the world, those who are very strict as far as the cross default clause is concerned. So guys, to conclude, one thing which we really need to understand, one thing which we really need to learn is that when we are signing any contract, whether this is ISDA Master Service Agreement, whether this is, any other lending agreements, or whether this is any form of financial transaction, financial contracting which we are signing, whether this is any big construction project which you are signing, whether this is, big aviation leasing. I will start thinking about aviation leasing soon. Or whatever we are doing, let me repeat, whatever we are doing, we are supposed to be very, very careful. We are supposed to be very, very careful, because if we are agreeing to a cross default clause in the contract, then we are bound to lose our contracting. This is what I would like to say. And unfortunately, the language, I would say, the language used by ISDA in its cross default clause is actually not summarizing the whole position, which it should, technically speaking. Via this video, I would like to challenge ISDA, if they feel that their language is a competent language in 2002 Master Service Agreement, then they can definitely contact me. I am ready to argue with them on technical grounds. This is Rahul Magan from Tertiary Consulting Group. You knew my personal number, +91 9899 242 978. Before I close, guys, I'm dealing with ISDA agreements from around 2011. Even today, I regularly visit the ISDA website, and whatever free information they are providing, public information they are providing, I download them, study them, print them, and make my own notes out of it. But that is really surprising to me, that there are many tactful paragraphs we have in 2002 Master Service Agreement, 2006 ISDA definitions, and so on and so forth, where we have many flip sides, and it can easily be challenged in the court of law. Thank you guys. This side Rahul Magan. See you soon.